Valorant's tier 2 scene is imploding. Across a lot of regions, it is a hot, piping mess. But why? What's happening that's causing all of this chaos and people are running around like it's Armageddon? Let's have a look. Since the introduction of Valorant's franchise league, the whole world of Valorant was stuck in a bittersweet moment where Tier 1 had something amazing coming in terms of stability, and also the unforeseen future of Tier 2 due to no more third-party tournaments being available. But then came the circuit of challenger leagues, and everyone was looking at a bright future where every year one team could make their way to the elites from each region. But with a circuit and a system that is constantly being improved upon and changed to adjust its length so that it isn't overshadowed by the off season and players don't end up being outcasted because of nothing to play for 6 months of the year, orgs were finding it difficult to stay afloat, especially in what is right now being called the Esports Winter. With no revenue generation per se, to keep themselves running even when there's a little bit of a downtime is causing a lot of them to close shop and see if they can redo it next season, if at all that too. And right now, that's exactly what's been happening, particularly towards NA. There are a couple of reasons as to why this is happening, but the most out there in our faces one is stability and longevity of esport orgs. A lot of these orgs are built upon the rock of passion, which is something that all of esports has grown from. The passion to compete, win, learn, dominate, all of it. It's in our blood. But that passion isn't unfortunately the only thing that keeps these orgs running. It's revenue. The money that needs to flow in to keep their org stabilized, to keep their players happy, and to keep all things in consideration going constantly. And on top of everything, competing in good shape. And a lot of that in today's world depends on who can gather the most of the market, who's got the numbers on social media, who pulls in the most viewers for their matches and for their content. In a world not so long ago, the brands were under the line of code that they always wanted to partner with the best team in the esports, the one who wins the most, the one who dominates the competition. But those times have long gone. Today, they care about who gets the most eyeballs. That's why brands love orgs like G2 and Sentinels. Because they themselves are massive brands and people love watching them, irrespective of them being the best teams or not. And this drives their revenue, and hence they're able to afford some crazy stuff that we see they do all the time. This could be explained a lot better by Seth Fowler, a YouTube genius who actually helped orgs like NRG and Team Liquid grow to insurmountable numbers when their content was at a couple mere thousands. He helped grow their content game to unexpected levels through his work. He explained on Twitter how there are a lot of orgs out there that are not utilizing their content lateral to their best abilities to be able to monetize it, but they still expect brands to show up and pay them money in the hope that they will find their time and their players get them through to franchising and win other off-season tournaments to win them that extra bit of prize money. Well, the competition in esports is cutthroat, extremely momentum based, and you never know how one team could take on a single tournament by themselves and destroy the competition throughout, and then bomb out of the very next one pretty quickly. Sort of like Crew, who went 0-9 in the regular VCT America season, but then smashed through the LCQ to make it to champs against all odds. How many teams can actually do that? This also kind of ties into the thing that orgs kind of have a double-edged sword put up against them in terms of what they offer, salaries, player expectations, market corrections, whatnot, which was a huge topic of debate recently, which got players like Dapper involved as well. Bo Hoogland had a Twitter thread talking about the same and had an interesting take about the whole thing. It included salary expectations of players, Valorant esports as an overall being a little too expensive to invest in as the time keeps going forward, and a lot more. Regardless, there are a lot of things that cannot be explained in Valorant esports just yet in terms of what direction the industry is heading towards, particularly in the tier 2 scene. Because there also seems to be a huge gaping hole from Riot themselves. After what we saw the global head of Valorant esports, Leo Faria, had to say about the tier 2 scene basically being a platform for talent development for the tier 1 and not something that they're looking for stability in, reported by this tweet here. Another thing that people do keep talking about again is a franchise league itself, and Dapper mentioned about this too, where the introduction of tier 1 drew an invisible line that caused a lot of these issues for tier 2 not being stable. There are a lot of problems that have arisen in the current scenario of Valorant esports that are causing earthquakes across the board in the Americas, EMEA, and Pacific as well. While it is extremely tumultuous right now, if not anything, heading into 2024 actually has some promise as compared to what we've seen before. With a changed up schedule, the Challenger Leagues now run longer, Ascension is after Champions, and the 2025 season starts at the end of 2024. This way, there are no big gaps, the players get to keep playing and compete for a longer time across the year, orgs can keep running with tournaments to play in and hope for a longer return from their sponsors thanks to the constant competition and time on stage. Riot are still looking to improve the Valorant ecosystem. It's not perfect, not by any close to a mile. And all of this while they're also working heavily on Premier, which has its own pros and cons as well. While yes, we did see some questionable statements from the heads at Riot Games, we cannot deny that they're actually listening to the players and the audience and implementing what they know is feedback that they are improving upon. They're at least taking baby steps, if not big steps, in the direction that we want them to. Starting off, of course, by making the Challenger Leagues a little bit more sustainably long so that the players don't have to worry about their jobs for half the year. Orgs that are going to be coming up and are still existing, who are still a little tight on their social game, probably need to look to employ people like Seth Fowler because he draws up parallels in these industries that I have not seen before in the content game. And it's a prime example of how to make your content succeed in the best way possible and use it to generate revenue in terms of monetizing and attracting more brands. There is work to be done across all fronts. I need to look to establish and create a thriving tier 2 scene, establish something that the players and orgs of tier 2 will be looking forward to participating in and find relief that they're not going to lose their jobs. Orgs need to restructure and plan for a lot more longevity and sustainability rather than blitzing their visions of getting done in a year or two by putting all the money they can. And players need to understand the market and think about progression, settling on their own terms, and what to do when there's a drought of competition. How can they actually help themselves by making a brand of themselves, streaming, content, whatnot, etc. Overall, right now, everyone has taken the worst turn possible that we've seen in esports so far. And if you could say so, it might just be a step behind us. The market correction is currently upon us and it is affecting all parts of esports. But the most important thing is that all of us take this step together. Tier 2 is what makes a game and its esports scene thrive, and we hope that for every region it starts moving in the right direction in the next couple of years. And that is in the direction of sustainability because that is the vision of Riot, and I'm hoping for everyone else too. There are people who are out there saying that esports might not even exist as a term in the next decade because of the way that we're heading in unless we plan for stability, and I really hope that these people are not right. Because this is what we all love to do. This is our passion and this is what we've grown up with. Esports has the potential to be bigger than anything we've seen now. It can compete with traditional sports in given time. We are all here for one reason. We love playing games. All we have to do is get through this winter together.